voting rights because you're probably not going to have them for much longer because the U.S. Supreme Court guts key provision in Voting Rights Act. U.S. Supreme Court of Washington gutted a key provision of the Voting Rights Act, making it harder for minorities to challenge electoral maps as racial discriminatory under landmark civil rights law, landmark. In a victory for Louisiana Republicans and President Donald Trump's admin, justices in a 6-3 ruling empowered by the court's conservative members blocked an electoral map that had given Louisiana a second black majority congressional district. The court's three liberal justices and some legal experts announced the decision as hollowing out Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which Congress enacted to bar electoral maps that would result in diluting the clout of minority voters. The ruling was issued amid a battle unfolding in Republican-governed and Democratic-led states around the country involving redrawing electoral maps to change the composition of congressional districts. Full impact of the ruling and midterms not immediately clear, though legal experts said possible states may try to enact new maps as a result of the decision. Louisiana has a primary election set for May 16th. The provision gained a greater significance in a bulwark after the Supreme Court in a 2013 ruling authored by conservative Chief Justice John Roberts gutted a different part of the same law, rendered the Voting Acts all but a dead letter. The Constitutionalist Kagan said would be grave. Under the court's new view, Section 2, a state can, without legal consequence, systematically dilute minority citizens' voting power. Of course, the majority does not announce today's holding that way. The opinion is understated, even antiseptic. The majority claims not only to be updating our Section 2 law as those a few technical tweaks, but in fact, those updates eviscerate the law so that it was not remedy even the classic example of vote dilution given above. Yeah, dude, if you're black or brown, oh yeah, baby. It is not good. And this is why people are so fucking unhappy. Another voting rights rollback, Louisiana, where black people make up roughly a third of the population, has 6 U.S. House representative districts. Black voters tend to support Democratic candidates in a process called redistricting. Yeah. Public views are nuanced. Oh, what the fuck? Oh no, one of my piercings fell out. I'll get that in a second, I guess. Fuck, where'd it go? That's annoying. God damn it. I don't even know where that happened. I'm not even messing with it. Clearly 65% of Americans thought race should not be considered when drawing congressional maps, but 5 in 10 respondents in the poll said, and 6 in 10 black respondents said the communities that share characteristics including race should be represented in the same congressional district. They should. Like, this is like really bad for us. Well, not for us, but for the U.S. Hold on, as this loads.
This is an ABC News special report.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We're coming on the air because the Supreme Court has just released a major decision which could have a profound impact on the midterm elections. The justices issuing a ruling on a case out of Louisiana involving the Voting Rights Act, redistricting, and whether states must end any consideration of race when redrawing congressional maps. The decision potentially reducing the influence of minority voters and minority representation in Congress. Let's get right.
Basically, what they're going to be able to do with this is make those districts that are like urban, dilute the urban for suburban and rural areas. Add those into the district maps to dilute the black vote.
Right to our senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer, who covers the Supreme Court for us. Devin.
Kira, this decision is 6-3, written by Justice Samuel Alito, and it's a significant decision and a setback for the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was passed to guarantee equality in how.
Dude, I can't wait for Clarence Thomas to just fucking get up and die. Like, come on, dude. You're so miserable.
We vote, and of course, addressing the systemic and historic racial discrimination, especially across the South. This decision came in a case out of Louisiana involving a court-ordered drawing addition of a second majority black district in that state because of the size of the state's population. And the Supreme Court today in this decision said that the court violated the 14th Amendment by adding, the state rather, violated the 14th Amendment by adding that district. They used race impermissibly, consciously, to add a second district to aid those voters, and they said that is simply not allowed under our Constitution. Justice Samuel Alito didn't go as far as saying race can never be used in drawing these maps. That's something the court has affirmed before to comply with the Voting Rights Act, but he put a significant new limit on how courts can order states to draw their maps to be more equitable. He said that Section 2 imposes liability only when evidence supports a strong inference that the state intentionally drew its map to discriminate. So a setback for minority voters in Louisiana, and now, Kira, the impact of this decision is going to start to ripple across the country.
Let's talk about that impact and bring in our legal contributor and law professor at Hofstra University.
I think this is one of those situations where it's a little too late, because at this point, like, what are they gonna do? Ghouls for real? Or are you not from the U.S.? I am in the U.S. I live in Minneapolis.
James Sample. I mean, James, this is clearly, gutting landmark legislation here.
Absolutely correct, Kira. This is a ruling that almost completely constitutionalizes a color blindness principle to the point that even race-conscious remedies designed to remedy racial discrimination are unconstitutional under the very amendments, the 14th and 15th Amendments, that the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were designed to make real and manifest in the country. So this is a diametrical shift in voting rights practices, a diametrical shift in the area of race.
I think this is going to play a bigger impact in 2028 than 2026. But the thing is, the fact that the Supreme Court did this means that we're kind of fucking boned 2028. Unless Democrats get some fucking brass balls on themselves and do some fucking work.
Race and racial discrimination and the remedies for racial discrimination.
James, thanks. Let's bring in again Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce. Now, Mary, let's just talk about what this will mean for the midterms and beyond.
Yeah, well, Kira, President Trump certainly has backed this nationwide effort to try and redraw districts ahead of the midterms to try and boost Republicans' chances. We haven't heard from the president yet about this ruling, but I suspect he certainly will have some positive comments to say about it. This is also worth noting that this announcement is coming just the morning after the president had 6 conservative Supreme Court justices on the guest list here last night for that lavish state dinner with the king. But there is no question that the president, we have seen him and other Republicans backing these efforts in many states across the country ahead of the midterms. And now, as Devin was noting, this will set off an opportunity for other states to try and follow suit, and it certainly could reduce the minority voter influence across the country going forward.
And minority votes play a huge fucking role in elections, because they're the only people that bring anything of value to this country. Compared to white people, like, black and brown people bring so much more diversity and soul to this country than any other group. I will throw Asians with the minority, and Asian Americans and natives. Like, I'm throwing anybody that's not, like, Caucasian. Because, like, white people just, oh my god, they look so, on the left, she looks whack. I like her dress, though. I also like the blue suit jacket on the right. But you can't, man. You can't just be like, oh, if America had no more black or brown people, by the way, we would be fucked. We have, like, all of America's culture comes from black people, primarily, and brown people. Pretty much every single part of it. And now, more recently, Asian Americans play a bigger role in it. But what would we have? Like, genuinely fucking nothing without them. I don't know, man. I know even, like this shit is just so unpopular. They're just not going to be doing well. Even, I know I saw this.
Conservative voters Rowan, Jacob, and Praveer, and liberal voters Ty, Whitman, and Kathy are part of our country's youngest voting bloc.
I think that with Gen Z, we love us. We're our biggest fans. Yeah, but in all seriousness, I think that for the first time in American history, the younger generations are not set up to have a better life than their parents did. And I think that that's an unfair and that's a scary thing.
What would you all say are the 2 most important topics right now?
I would say the economy and the disappearing middle class.
I would say affordability and the job market.
Protecting democracy and campaign finance.
The economy and how united we are as a society.
Affordability, as well as protecting our democracy and our Constitution.
Income inequality and foreign policy.
let's dive into cost of living because that is one of the biggest stressors for all of
Yeah,
us.
no, dude, this is gonna be the least.
There's, I would argue, too much going on.
Just because we're privy to so much information, we tend to joke about things.
Americans don't actually read the article, they just read headlines, and I'm like, I fell for it. I fell for the thing.
Despite their political differences, these 20-somethings still have hope for the future of our country.
I think the American dream can be possible. I don't know right now, like the current trajectory we're on, I don't necessarily feel like we're setting people up to achieve it, but I think we can get there.
I think one thing.
I wonder if this would have been done after the voting rights thing. If some of the why does my armor? Let's cut off thinking Trump is trying to help you is cutting your nose off to spite your face. Oh, the dark hair kid drank the MAGA Kool-Aid? Which one? I mean, I guess he has lighter hair, dark hair.
Anyway.
Then we should, but I do think at the end of the day, we do care about our future and the future.
% of Americans don't.
Because that's, as humans, is what we're made for.
Yeah, we need something new from the Democrats because shit like this is going to keep happening. I could see fucking Voting Rights Act getting completely gutted. Like, it's already pretty gutted, but I could see Section 2 basically going away. Oh, man. Court overruled 5-4 in 23. The Republican drawn electoral map in Alabama violated Section 2, siding with black voters who challenged the map and sought an additional black majority congressional district. Roberts and fellow conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh joined the court's 3 liberal justices to form a majority in the decision. The Supreme Court heard arguments in the Louisiana case in October 25. Yeah, I think last night they definitely would have talked about this and made like a plan being like, hey, if you don't do this, there's going to be consequences. And that's why because like Brett Kavanaugh is such a wild card to me because sometimes he'll side with the liberal justices and sometimes he won't. Compared to all the other conservative justices, he's a much more wild card. And I could actually see him making a choice based off of what he truly believes in. But yeah, this is really fucked. This is very, very fucked. This is why we're gonna need a significant amount of people to come out and vote in the next 2 big elections because the more voters there are, even though this wasn't true last time, but the more voters there are, the more likely it is for a Democrat to win. And we need people to vote. We need people to vote, man. I'm still excited for the midterms. I don't think it's lost yet, but it's gonna be a rough couple of months until the midterms, seeing how far voter restriction goes. You gotta do everything you can, man. You gotta do everything you can to make sure people go out and vote. Like, seriously, like, just, like, talking about it. And honestly, like, I know you're not supposed to talk in public, but, like, make people feel awkward for not voting. Like, there's no reason to not make people feel awkward for not voting. There's no excuse in my mind that I can think of, besides being, like, disabled or in the hospital, that there's no, like, why else would you not vote? Like, if you're on the operating table, yeah, obviously, you shouldn't be voting. But if you're, like, just out there working, like, granted, it's harder now with same-day voting being more favored by conservatives, and mail-in voting getting restricted every day. But you really got to make people vote, even if they don't know what's going on. The more people vote, the better it is for us.